public. Yeah. Let's listen to all these different pitches. Let's make it as open as possible throughout this whole process. And the idea is that we're going to have a few different rounds, just like the real America's Got Talent has several rounds that you have to go through. There's going to be several rounds here as well. So this is the preliminary round, and there's going to be a number of these spread over the next few weeks where we're going to be listening in to the pitches from several projects. And then in future rounds, we're going to actually just do a live stream so we can allow for some screen sharing and walkthrough of pitch decks and things like that. But for now, just going to be listening to each of these projects pitch to us, spending about 10 minutes for each project, and might ask a few questions, give some feedback right here live on their direction. And maybe if the grant doesn't work out, we can still provide some useful feedback for the project.
Exactly. Okay, that's awesome. And the other cool thing is that we're basically inviting, friends to come on stage with us and support and, give feedback. All of you guys that are on the panelists on stage with us are, experts in your fields. So your opinion is actually, greatly appreciated and very valuable. And on top of that, I think we should involve the community as well. So, maybe after we do this, there's going to be the pitches, the space has been recorded. Let's just, see what the community thinks. So even if you guys are listening now and you think, oh, how can I, maybe help this project, or I like these guys, how should I get involved? Let's maybe do a poll later. Let's maybe have people share what they think from the community point of view. See maybe if you have any ideas for improvements, all that kind of stuff. So let's just keep it nice and open. I guess maybe
it would be great also. It would be great also if we can get the community out there on that little bubble in the bottom right hand corner, because obviously everybody that's on stage is going to be listening in and taking a look at what people are typing in as far as comments. So don't feel like you're not part of this. If you're just listening in, please leave your comments, share your thoughts. It helps everybody because we get to know what you're thinking, and the algo loves it and gets this pushed out to more people.
Amazing. Yes. I guess let's go around and maybe introduce the speakers. We have Joey from the ecosystem account. We have Action. We have Smokey. And let's just go. And yeah, what's up, guys? What have you been up to?
Yo. What's going on? It's Joey here, head of community for IoTex, live in the flesh. We're super excited to be here. I'm actually tapped in with the Discord with our community. So we're going to get live feedback, whether it be in the comment section here or from the Discord. So I'll be definitely sharing that. Nice to see all of you here on stage.
Awesome. Thanks, Joey. And yeah, Joey, is the godfather for the IoTex community. So I think your input and all the community input is going to be great on that end. So awesome. Action, you're next on my screen.
Dude, I'm just the guy that's been around this place for 12, 13 years. I've seen things come and go. My goal is to try to make it a better space than it was yesterday. You know what I mean? I see people come and go in the space a lot, and I'm just looking out for those gems, making sure that I can be, of support to those people that are not only here to build, but build something that's long lasting and will make an impact and a difference and a change in this whole ecosystem. So yeah, just some little guy that loves to host things and highlight the people that are important in the space. Like Aaron.
Deep in Aaron.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You as well, Action.
Sweet. Next on my screen, I got Rohit from the Polygon ecosystem. Guys, Rohit is probably one of the best hosts, hosted one of the best spaces that I've ever been at a couple of weeks ago with Aaron, as a matter of fact. So I love that you made the time. I know it's late for you, but yeah, thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah, excited, and thank you for inviting me, and looking forward to all the pitches. Yeah, I work with Smokey. I'm part of the founders community team at Polygon, and I also handle all the ground programs here. And happy to take some time out of my drenching hours, because that's what I do, late in the evening. And so you've saved me, at least losing $100 today. So thank you.
All right, man. I'll take a cup. Smokey, you're up next, man. Nice to meet you.
How's it going, everybody? Nice to meet you. My name's Smokey, and I'm the community lead over at Polygon. I help out with our Discord community and general community activation. So excited to be here, judging projects and seeing what everybody's building.
Awesome. Aaron, what do you think? Anything else that maybe we can share, or you think we just jump right into it?
Yeah, I think we got the main idea across there. Super excited to start this with you all. So we're going to be doing this consistently should be every Friday from here on out for the foreseeable future. So, same thing. Just this goes out to all the panelists. Like, feel free to join if you can, and we're gonna probably rotate some other people in as well. So, yeah, gonna try to keep this very, very consistent over the next while.
Awesome. Let's do it. So guys, obviously it's the first episode, so bear with us. There is a lot of stuff that we're figuring out. For example, in which order will the projects go and pitch? We haven't figured out a way that's kind of makes sense. So basically what I did, I just gave Aaron a list. I just picked randomly. And so we're going to start with the list that we have here. So Derad Network, you are up first. I think you already promoted as a speaker, so you should be able to, talk to us.
Thank you for inviting me here. I am Nijat from Derad Network. Derad Network is a decentralized air traffic tracking and ADSP system. ADSP is a simple technology. It's used to track aircrafts and air traffic data. It depends on aircrafts to sending the data to ground and ground stations receiving that data and processing that data. So we are creating the hardware layer, a decentralized hardware layer, also a token incentivized model on it. We started this project 4 months ago and working continuously. Our current development stage is MVP. We are building our community. Also, we are adding new antennas from different locations to expand our coverage. Of course, currently we are in testnet stage. We are testing a lot of things, improving the system, but we are moving really, really fast because, this is the main deepin ideology. We are not a traditional company. We are a deepin company and we are experimenting things other companies don't do. We are 100% community-focused model. So all antennas and all hardware are provided by the community. Currently, we are not selling the hardware and we are not planning to sell the hardware in the future. We depend on hardware other manufacturer and other companies are selling. We are compatible with almost all antennas, SDR antennas in the market. So people can choose their own hardware, people can create their own stack. The Derad Network is developing the incentivized model, the token ecosystem, and the software will run on the hardware. So we are not a hardware company, we are the software company. Of course, in the future, we will work hardware manufacturers to optimize our code and optimize our software for their hardware. So currently, we are building some connections with hardware manufacturers. Also, we have an EMA in coming days, one of them. So currently, we are exploring that space as well. But our main focus is developing the software because we believe the software is the value in this space, and we need a strong software to provide good value for our community. Currently, our community is expanding. We have a lot of members from different locations, and some of them providing the hardware, providing the antennas to our network. Currently, our coverage is limited, but after the mainnet launch, we will expand our coverage, and we are planning to be a market leader in ADSP and air traffic tracking industry. Yeah, this is simply Derad Network and our goals in the future.
I'd love to hear, so how does this normally work with air traffic control and kind of mapping the sky and where these airplanes are? Like, what is the current methods of doing this? And then what are the methods that you are bringing to revolutionize this? And why is it better now?
Currently, there are some methods to track aircrafts. One of them is traditional method, so the radar system and bigger antennas. And second is ADSP. ADSP is simple and more efficient system because ADSP antennas are very small and everybody can set up an antenna in their homes. So it is a scalable system, but there are currently some problems with this system. It is the coverage. Simply current coverage of ADSP powered by people, and there is no system giving reward to these people. So that's why coverage is limited. Only people who know ADSP, only people who understand ADSP running antennas. But we believe if we create an incentivized model, so if we give something to people, other people who is not interested in ADSP or this technology can still run the antenna to provide the coverage to the system. So our main goal is expanding ADSP coverage. Simply, we believe ADSP is superior to traditional methods, and it's very efficient to scale and replace traditional aircraft tracking.
Action, you have a question?
Yeah, dude, I'm the nerd over here that knows so much about some of these things. I understand that air traffic controllers have their own, centralized systems, and then sometimes they run some parallel that may not be centralized or may be secondary systems. What's the actual goal for your network? Are you trying to be the end all and be all where air traffic control actually uses your system or just uses it as a backup?
Actually, we think we can create a public service, a public ADSP tracking system. Also, air traffic controllers can use our system as well. Also, we notice there are some coverage gaps in some areas. So our main goal is creating a good coverage, also creating a public system. So currently, some of ADSP data is not accessible by the public because popular services like Flightradar 24 are not including some data for some reasons. So in Derad network, we will not do that. We will make all data accessible to public. This is our first goal. Second is the commercial goal. Commercial goal is creating an API, a database, and a real-time stream of the data for the commercial use. This is our second goal. Yeah.
And then how can you expand if you're only looking at the software layer? Like, who are you targeting? Who has the hardware to be able to implement your software into it?
In our testnet stage, we are targeting people who is currently running an ADSP antenna in their home. This is our first target. After the mainnet, we will work hardware manufacturers to build and manufacture custom hardware to sell. So they can sell the hardware to people who want to run a station for their network. Currently, there are some problems with hardware. It is very difficult to set up a hardware. People need an SDR antenna, an SDR converter, and a competing device, for example, Raspberry Pi P or any competing device. And it requires some level of knowledge, some level of technical knowledge to set up an antenna. We will produce simple plug-and-play antennas to people who don't have that much knowledge to set up their own antennas, but want to participate in the RAD network, want to participate in reward distribution process, and want to earn some rewards. So this is our expansion strategy after the mainnet.
Well, here's a fun little one. Let's say you get the grant. What would you do with it?
First thing, we will try to reach hardware manufacturers to produce a device and distribute that device to some locations. For example, we have some people in Africa who want to run an ADSP device. So we will send some device to them to test this system. Also, we will build our community better. We will do some activities to bring more people who actually interested in running these devices. Also, we will invest that money to our software. We will expand our team and hire more developers to launch the mainnet as fast as possible.
Sweet. Awesome. And actually, that was a great question because that was exactly what I wanted to ask, which is important, like what do you do with the funds and how are you going to use them? Thank you for that. That was great. And I think you mentioned some interesting stuff, which is even in general, right? Like, try to work with like people, existing hardware, work on the software, like, tackle the scalability, which is great. So yeah, I'm quite excited. I don't know if maybe Smokey or maybe Rohit or Joey, if you guys have any questions, or actually even if you have comments, I think it'll be great if you want to share some feedback.
I actually do have a question. I don't know if you covered this, I might have not heard it, but is there any cost for onboarding the community? I think that's a crucial component when it comes to adoption. I know you said it's a soft. Mm-hmm.
There is actually two costs. First cost is reaching the people. We need to do promotion, etc., to reach the people. Second cost is the hardware. So people need to purchase hardware from a manufacturer, or people can set up their own hardware. They can purchase the antenna separately and converter separately. The minimal cost for a hardware, a device can work in our network is around $50 or $60. Of course, it's the bare minimum device, and antenna is very small. Coverage is not that uh, good, but people can invest more money in the future if they want to earn more rewards, if they want to get more coverage. So the minimal cost is for us reaching the people, and for the people it's around $50-$60 to purchase the hardware and join the network.
What's the higher end for a quality antenna? What costs
Uh,
are you anticipating?
Actually, higher end antennas are costing a few $1,000s, but
Okay.
mid-range antennas are $100 or $200. So it's around that.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Also, one thing, Nihat, if you want to maybe share some links or any sort of like material that maybe people in the audience, in the community, maybe the other panelists want to like have a look at, feel free to put it in the comments, and then we can just like highlight it up here so that,
Sure. I will add a collection of our links to comment so people can check and explore more about our project and learn what we are doing right now.
awesome. Yes. And I invite everybody else to do it because it's important, guys, because eventually, maybe in a couple of days, we'll ask you guys from the community what you thought about these projects. And then you gotta, share your opinion and vote a little bit as well, to maybe promote Derad to the next round. Rohit, yes, and Smokey.
Yeah, just one quick question. Maybe you covered this now, but there's the cold start problem, which is essentially availability of this hardware, and then incentivization is one bit of it. But on the other side, like how will the network generate revenue, and how will those what are these key customers that you will be targeting through this new protocol? That's something that I wanted to understand.
The revenue generation process is a complicated process. First, they will provide an API for the historical data. Actually, we are planning to store historical data on R-Wave, permanent storage solution. Also, they will provide real-time data with zero lag. So this is our second product. So airline companies and other companies who want to get historical data and real-time data to optimize, for example, their routes, their fuel efficiency, etc., can get this data from us. Also, we will create different products, for example, a mobile application for aircraft tracking like Flight Radar 24. It will be a public service and some premium features on it. So this is our current plans for revenue generation. Actually, our main product will be the API for the historical data and the real-time data. And we believe real-time data is more important, and we will focus on providing real-time data in the best efficiency.
I'm curious, like, how do these airline companies, which I now understand is going to be is that the primary buyer of this data from existing resources? Are there companies out there who already have access to this data that you will now, displace as a result of having this now alternate, form of data collection and APIs that you want to kind of provide out there?
Currently, there are some providers actually providing the data we are planning to do uh, do provide. So we are creating an alternative product. There is already a market for this data, and our goal is providing the better service with cheaper prices and more coverage, more data, and more historical data. So our goal is not creating a new market. Our goal is playing in the market already exists and provide better service than other competitors.
There must be some critical volume of data that you must first generate and then store for you to then be able to create those like pipelines. So I'm just wondering, like, if you start spinning up this decentralized framework, at how much time do you think it will take for you to now have a sizable chunk of data? And you brought about, there will be significant cost benefits. So just curious, like, how can you factor this for me, like 10x savings or something like that? Do you have some predictions on how efficient this would be in terms of costs in comparison to centralized competitors out there?
Sure. I can provide some information about that as well. So first thing is this: coverage is everything in this field. If a company have good coverage and can provide more data, more information than other providers, that company can be a market leader, because the only factor is the coverage. There are a lot of companies, there are a lot of competitors, and they are playing in the same area. So coverage will be our main advantage, because our main competitor is currently Flightradar 24, and they are getting the data from people. People are providing the data for free, and this company is not providing any incentivized model, anything to their data providers. They will reach the same people, and they will provide an incentivized model to them. Also, other people will join the network because they will see they can earn something in this network. So the coverage will be our main advantage. Also, the Derad network will be cost efficient because we are not getting any profit from the data we are selling. What we earn goes to our community. So we are not taking any cut from these transactions. So that's why the Derad network will be more cost efficient, because we are getting the data from the community, and all our earnings, all our revenue goes to the community. So it will be more cheaper because of this reason.
Got it. And just last question before I wrap up from my end. In terms of these other, competitors and alternatives, how much does, from a dollar perspective, does an annual opportunity market size of this service look like?
To be honest, we don't have access to information about their revenue, because all of them are private companies. They are not a publicly tradable company. So we don't have access. But ADSP data market is a $1 million market, and market value is increasing over time. So market is growing. At least we know this. And the Derad network can generate millions in revenue maybe after 1 or 2 years. And all this revenue will go to our community and data providers. So we believe we can create a strong incentivized model, and there is an existing market. So this is our main advantage, because we see some deepin companies are trying to create something, a product, but there is no market for that product. We are different. We are creating a product for an existing market.
So I am familiar with the WingBits project. How do you guys differentiate to WingBits?
Yeah, we know WingBits. They are our main and only competitor in deep in space. They are mainly focused on the hardware, so they are requiring a custom hardware. Before 4 or 5 months ago, people was able to join the network with their own hardware, but currently they need to purchase custom hardware. We understand how they are doing, why they are doing this, because they want to get secure data and trustable data from the hardware. But we think we can't trust the hardware, because if you lock the hardware, if you make hardware safe, people still can cheat the system. Even they can't do anything to hardware, they can't tamper the hardware, but it's possible to generate fake ADSP signals, and your trusted hardware can receive that fake signals and send that signals to your network. So trusting the hardware is not a good option. We need to create a network level trust. So we need to verify the data from other stations as well. Currently, WingBits are working on a reservation model. So you need to reserve an area and run a station on that area. But this model is require a trust to the device. We don't reserve any area, so anybody can run a station in any area, and they will verify the data from other stations. If a station sends fake data, other stations can detect this and temporarily ban that antenna from the network. So we are doing things a little bit different, and we are creating a network level trust, not the device level trust.
Understood. That's super interesting.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, Nihat, thank you. Please do share in the comments. I haven't checked them, so if you have already, that's awesome, and I'll just highlight them above. And guys, I'm going to be a little bit boring for the next 20 seconds. So we only have basically 15 minutes left in the slot that we had assigned for the space. And I don't know, Aaron, maybe we gotta do like longer spaces next time to like accommodate, because we had basically 3, 6, 9 projects, including Derad. And I think we might have time for one, maybe 2 more. So yeah, guys, thanks for bearing with us. Obviously, we're figuring out the format as we go, but there's going to be time next week, obviously. And whoever obviously didn't get to come up on stage with us today, you guys will be first in line next week. And we might even publish basically the list in the order in which people go up on stage, so that, if you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to maybe jump in later, you can as well. So next in line, in our random list, I had Gem Galaxy, and then after that, I had Ice Card. So everybody else, if you want to stick around, feel free. But I think we might have time for maybe 1 or max 2 more. So without further ado, let's go to Matt.
Hi guys, my name is Matt. So first of all, thank you, Deep in Jesus and iTech team and Polygon team for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. So we are actually coming from Singular Internet Ecosystem. We are a spin-off of Singular Internet Ecosystem. If you guys actually are aware, our co-founder Ben Grilso, I think he's one of the brightest minds in decentralized AI and GI out there. So actually at Gem Galaxy, we are accelerating distributed networks with ultra-fast network solutions. So I'll conceptualize this a bit of a story because we don't have the slides and the visuals here. So at Gem Galaxy, we believe that latency and sync between nodes in DeepINS is a major obstacle for adoption and scaling of distributed networks and DeepINS. And so we kind of started off last year in a bit different industry altogether. We started off as basically like a music platform, music app that would enable musicians to actually co-create music remotely, near real time. So just for those that actually don't know, so what we perceive as fast audio or real time is around 50 milliseconds. And we were actually able with our research to bring it down under 50 milliseconds. So it is really, we are basically unlocking a use case where you can jam together with other musicians like you were in the same room. So we started off, solving this audio music use case. And then we realized, okay, well, if we are building this infrastructure that's needed for this product, then we realized, okay, maybe we could actually decentralize it, turn it into DeepIN and make it participatory, and eventually, open this infrastructure to also other use cases. So that's how we kind of arrived pretty organically to the DeepIN narrative before, it turns to be a super hot trend in the crypto space. I would say very organically. So we started off with music, and then we realized, okay, so we could actually apply we call it low latency tech stack. So we are focusing on AI data orchestration, so essentially smart routing, compression, private public networks. So these, let's say, individual tech components that are enabling better sync and lower latency. And now we're actually looking at how we can apply this tech stack on general data transfer. So now actually we one of our products, we call it Gem Network. It is a low latency orchestration layer that is essentially using other DeepINS, aggregating the nodes, and then enabling, thanks to the compression and the smart routing and data orchestration, unlocking other use cases like decentralized AI learning, real-time audio and video, AI agents, etc. So essentially taking the hardware as is, aggregating and unlocking, optimizing the sync and latency, and unlocking these use cases. So far, we actually are pretty mature on the audio side. So we were like, for last, let's say 9 months, we were laser focusing on building a product and MVP. So we managed to build this audio infrastructure where we were able to essentially do tests where you can be, for example, just to imagine, you can be in London, UK, and you could be on the other side of Europe, for example, in Poland, Warsaw, and you could actually keep the audio latency at 30 milliseconds. So which is very, very good. So we completed these tests, and now we are ready to basically bring this to general data transfer. And we are now working with multiple players in the DeepIN space, like iFear. We're also talking to DeepIN Jesus, so Iotex and few others, Fetch AI and so on, how we could build these POCs in the general data transfer and then eventually standardize and commercialize these POCs into actual products. So that is pretty much long story short.
Awesome, Matt. Bullish. Let's see. I have a feeling that Action is eager to maybe say something here, but Smokey was going on and off earlier. I don't know, Smokey, if you want the mic, you want to maybe share some insights, feel free.
Oh, I'm back. I think I got in halfway
Yes.
to his pitch, so I'll just listen for now.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. Anybody wants to maybe comment or ask Matt some questions?
Yeah, I've got a
Rohit.
question here. So
Ah,
it
no,
sounds
Aaron.
sounds incredibly interesting, and I get where you're talking about with the low latency and everything. And from like Web 2 perspective, I fully understand what you guys are trying to do here, but I'm just trying to understand like where does the Web 3 aspect come in here? Can you just walk me through that part and why?
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, I can just go into token utility basically. So actually one of the kind of the parts that we are working on is also actually building this, network of nodes specified for audio, specialized in audio. So, we are actually using a token as incentive mechanism to motivate, to basically control the node operator's behavior and also reward them in the project token. And we are also looking at using the token as, payment mechanism, payment unit between the Gem Music platform and also the Gem network itself. And pretty much like any let's say, third party that would be using the network or our tech stack to actually use it to, lower the latency and improve the sync to unlock these use cases. And we are also looking at using the token for yield redistribution. So based on milestones, we are planning to redistribute part of the revenue or the value accrued in the ecosystem to token holders. So those would be kind of the main avenues when it comes to token utility.
Got you. So the people that are running the nodes are going to be earning,
Yes.
and also the musicians.
So the musicians are barely here, like in a position, let's say, of consumers, at least at this point.
Hmm.
We are planning, to do some like more interesting stuff down the road, like maybe like artist tokens and so on. But as a starting point, we are like basically at this point just rolling out the app itself and focusing on actually turning this into a good product before we iterate further.
Got you. And then on the Web 2 side, it sounds like Google Meet, that's not really as good for this because of the issues with the latency, and same thing with Zoom. But what are the Web 2 options out there if someone wanted to kind of do something similar? And what's the advantage for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, good thing that you're mentioning Google Meet and Zoom. So, based on our tests, basically we're like 6 times faster than Zoom and 60 times faster than Google Meet. Just like for a bit of a comparison there in that audio, let's say audio or real-time video use case. But we are looking at other use cases like decentralized AI learning or AI agents communication. Since SingularityNet is, I would say, really has immense credibility in AI, or decentralized AI specifically, then we are working with the SingularityNet team on, basically accelerating and using these AI-powered compression mechanisms and data orchestration mechanisms to unlock, for example, the decentralized AI learning. So, that is something that we are focusing on, or specifically federated AI learning. Since now the status quo is that basically you have very consolidated access to supercomputers, etc. I mean, you have of course DeepSeek and so on coming in, but we believe that basically with us improving the latency and sync, then in the future we would be able to contribute to unlocking the decentralized AI learning compute market. So thus basically making it cheaper to train AI models. That is, for example, one of many things that we are looking at right now.
Very interesting. Any more comments from the panelists here?
Yeah, just one for me. Like when you talk about low latency, how low are we talking about here in terms of internet scale?
So I mean, we can go down all the way to 10 milliseconds, which is pretty much as low as it can get. I mean, obviously, you have like some physical barriers to this, right? So you need to work with existing infrastructure that is basically, cables, internet cables, and so on. But 10 milliseconds, the absolute, let's say, bottom we were able to achieve.
And also, I'm curious, like, what's the connection with music? Like, why is this important for folks creating music, which is what I heard you do? Or is this more towards folks who just want to tune in and do online streaming today the way we do it, Spotify or others?
Right. So we need to differentiate between Spotify and purely streaming, right? So in this case, when it comes to what we were working on, or this first audio music use case that we've built up, there you're actually looking at also audio input, right? So you have multiple. Imagine you have a friend in Las Vegas, you're based in San Francisco, let's say. So we actually enable you to come in, join the app, and you can create music real time. So your friend would be guitarist, you would be playing on drums, and you could connect up, link up, and you could actually play like you are in the real same room, real time. So that is something that is really not that common right now. But it is very different to streaming, for example, where you're just like passively consuming the audio. Here you are also actually having audio input by playing the music.
Hey guys, did I lose you or we're good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Okay, cool. No, because I'm having some connection issues. Just wanted to make sure. Great. Yeah. So basically something that we had discussed with Matt, like there is the infrastructure sort of like, I don't know, category. And then there is the like end user facing category. And so I guess if you want to like keep it very, very simple, the GEM network is basically an implementation of what can be done from the infrastructure.
Yes, correct. So we just use the audio music use case as basically the first example of what actually the infrastructure can do in terms of the sync and latency. But ultimately the big picture is really going into general data transfer and optimizing sync and latency using DPNs and unlocking it for multiple use cases. And we were also looking at potentially that we could maybe like build like some DP infra module for like with Outex or so that we could focus on the low latency, for example. That's something that we are very far with, and we could unlock it for Outex ecosystem basically, and then we could go to continue building POCs in different directions.
Yeah, that's great, man. And for example, I was just thinking, something basic, maybe, some of the audience, obviously they have, various level of expertise and understanding. If you can just make us think in simple terms, like what kind of order of magnitude are we talking about when, for example, you were talking about federated learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how like, a 20, 30 millisecond messaging could influence that and scale it. Like, can you kind of like make a comparison that maybe can stick with people or can resonate? And part B of the question, also feel free to share some links so that I can highlight them before we say goodbye to everybody.
Right. Okay, let me just jump on the links part then real quick.
Sure.
So when it comes to purely the use cases, just in simple terms, so there is multiple things, right? So in some areas, like the audio or so, or like even the decentralized AI learning, we are basically, you have certain blockers. Now you are doing it in decentralized way because simply the technology is not really there yet, right? So it is not even a matter of how much do we optimize, or so, but it's also a matter of if it can even work that way, right? So in the audio right now, basically there isn't really like a possibility or technical infrastructure there for the musicians to actually do what we are saying that they can do with our app. In the decentralized AI learning or AI agents, you basically for the decentralized AI models to work, you need certain level. If you want to do it in decentralized way, that means that you have multiple servers spread out, which is not really the most mainstream way how you train models right now. You need to solve this sync and this latency to even enable that use case. So I think it's pretty high impact because you're looking at just introducing a new way how you train the AI models and at much cheaper cost. It is really hard to quantify the impact because it's just completely unlocking like a new way how to do it. Versus, for example, using AWS servers as what we are used to, for example, right now.
Got it. Sweet. Thank you, Matt. I highlighted some links here from Capture, from Jet, and from Cylon. And Matt, as soon as you share yours, I'll highlight it as well. We basically reached the hour. It kind of went really fast. And for anybody that didn't manage to obviously come up on stage, we always have next week. Maybe final round from some of you guys is up here on stage with us today. Some of your thoughts, what you're looking forward to, and maybe what should we ask for the next projects next week? What could be improved real quick?
All right, I'll go real quick just because I gotta get head out for another space that's starting 1 minute ago. Dude, this is just awesome. Like, I love when we get the opportunity to actually hear from people that are building real things in a space. Like, first and foremost, thank you for everybody that showed up. It's a big deal, especially for me, because I'm always looking for people that are highlighting, this kind of stuff. But most of all, appreciate everybody that came on stage and had the guts to actually answer questions. Like, this doesn't happen very often. I want to remind the audience, like, you don't get this in regular internet. Like, at Web 2 world, like, you're not gonna get to talk to whoever is in charge, right? Like, here you do. You get to actually talk to the people that are building, the people that are behind it all. So first and foremost, thank you. Secondly, man, we could do like a whole show with a single person. I think we might end up having to outline some questions and some of the things that we want to hear from everybody right from the get-go, maybe having that pitch time as soon as they come up with a few expectations. But yeah, this has been phenomenal. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Deepan Jesus over there. Giuseppe, you're awesome, dude. Like, super excited you guys are putting this together.
Thank you, man. That was awesome. Thank you. And it's very true. I love the fact that we're doing this all together and you get to basically speak to the founders of these projects and they have the guts to come and ask questions. That is awesome. Thank you also for joining us, Action. Anybody else? Smokey, did you have your hands up?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me out. Sorry, I was having some connection issues, but it's nice to hear from the projects, and I definitely agree. It takes a lot of courage to be able to come up and do a pitch in front of a lot of people. I just want to encourage anybody that's applying for the grants. You guys are more than welcome to join the Polygon server and come into the Founders Hub portion if you select the Founders role. And we host weekly growth sessions for the founders. Last week we had the creator of Microsoft Outlook come and give great advice for early startups. So would love to have everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Smokey. And Rohit just said goodbye. His phone died. It's also very late for him. And so I really appreciate also him being up on stage. Ashley wasn't feeling too well today. Still, she came and supported as a speaker. Aglayer was there. Joey there from our ecosystem account. Thank you very much, man. The Godfather. And Aaron, best co-host ever.
You as well. No, it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to do it again next week.
Same. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
You guys crushed it. Yeah, awesome. Nice to hear from everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you for hosting this EMAs because you are providing a valuable opportunity to reach new people, new communities. So thank you for your hard work and hosting these amazing spaces.
Thank you, guys. And everybody else, see you next week.